Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial I'll show you how I crocheted this jacket. It has a zipper in front that you can open and close, and I also used a very beautiful stitch pattern that has a very beautiful texture. Also the yarn is pretty, so everything makes it look pretty. I'll be writing a pattern and I will leave the links in my description box in case you want to check it out on Etsy and Yarnsey shops. So let's begin. For the yarn, I'm using this beautiful yarn Forest from Durable Yarn, and it is 50 grams per skein and 187 meters long per skein. I used 10, like 9.5 of these for my extra small size. It's a blend of acrylic, merino, and silk. It is a size 3 yarn, but it feels like a size 2 yarn, so you can use size 2 or size 3. But it's sport yarn, so any sport yarn or DK yarn, I think you can go with that. You'll need a tape measure because we are going to be using measurements for different sizes instead of the number of stitches. Also, we are going to be using a 3.0 millimeter hook. You can go a hook bigger, but this is what is recommended by this yarn, 2.5 to 3. So I went with 3 millimeter. You need stitch markers, you need scissors, and a zipper. I couldn't find the zipper that I wanted that opens all the way through, so my jacket doesn't open completely. It like opens until, you know, where it stops at the bottom. Anyway, this is how it looks like, the jacket. We are going to start with the back panel from here all the way up. That is the length, and then we'll do the front panels. We'll make some reductions here at the top for the front panels, and once we are done with that, we'll do the sleeves and then add the ribbing. Once we are done with the sleeves, we add the ribbing, and then we add the top ribbing, the bottom ribbing, and then the zipper is the last. So we're going to start with the back panel, and if you want to create this in any size, you're going to take your tape measure and measure your shoulder to shoulder measurement. So from one tip of the shoulder to the other tip of the shoulder, and see how much that is in length. I'm using inches, so if you have that, you'll add 4 inches to that. So this is our beginning. It will be a foundation chain. It's your measurements from shoulder to shoulder plus 4 inches. And mine, I'm an extra small. Shoulder to shoulder is 15 plus 4, that is 19, which means my foundation chain is going to be 19 inches of chain, and we'll be using an odd number. All right, so take your tape measure, or you can just Google how many shoulder to shoulder inches are there for, I don't know, medium size or extra large size, and Google will tell you. So once you have the foundation chain, then we are going to start on the pattern. And before that, BC is the length or the height of the cardigan, and this is without the ribbing. This is before we add the ribbing. The ribbing is 2.5 inches long, so you keep that in mind. You'll also measure how, you know, from the top of your shoulder until where you want your cardigan to reach, and that should be your length before the ribbing. And this is the foundation chain. So this is how we are going to do the stitch. Like I said, we are going to start with our foundation chain for the back panel. Mine is 19 inches. According to your calculation, it will be different. Then you're going to chain an odd number of stitches. Okay, I'll just chain a sample because I'm showing you a sample, but mine was, I think, 87 stitches to start with. Okay, so once you have your odd number of stitches, you're going to skip the first stitch and go into the second stitch to start on our first row and make a single crochet. So make a single crochet into your second chain from the hook, go into the third chain from the hook, make a single crochet, and then you're going to go into every chain and make a single crochet until you have that foundation chain, which is AB. Okay, so I'll see you at the end for row 2. So once you get to row 2, This is how row 1 looks like, right? Single crochets. Now for row 2 is where the pattern starts. It's a one row repeat. Okay, so you're going to chain 1, and it's going to start like this always, unless we are decreasing, of course. So this is the turning chain. You're going to go into the first 2 stitches and make a single crochet in those 2 stitches. So 2 single crochets. And once you have that, then we are now going to do an extended half double crochet. So you're going to go backwards in the first stitch, but in the row below the first stitch, and then you're going to make an extended half double crochet, but it like goes backwards. You understand? All right, so now we have 3 stitches, and now you're going to skip the next stitch and then go into the next stitch and make a single crochet, and then make an extended half double crochet, which means you're going under the skipped stitch in the row below where you skipped a stitch, and make a half double crochet. Skip the next stitch, into the next, make a single crochet, yarn over and skip backwards and make a half double crochet, which is extended. Okay, then skip the next stitch and into the next, make a single crochet, yarn over, go in the stitch before that but in the row below, and make a half double crochet. So you're just going to keep repeating this. Skip 1, single crochet, then extended half double crochet in the previous row but in the stitch under the stitch that you skipped. So skip 1, single crochet, yarn over, extended half double crochet under the stitch that you skipped, and in the end you're going to skip 1 and then make a single crochet in the last stitch. So you started with 2 single crochets, you end with 1 single crochet, and it's going to be a repeat like this. So for row 3 we are going to chain 1, and which is like a repeat of row 2. So chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to make 2 single crochets in the first 2 stitches. So in this very first stitch, make a single crochet, go into the second stitch, make your second single crochet, and now make an extended half double crochet, which means you'll go under the first single crochet stitch in the previous row and make that half double crochet. Skip 1 into the next stitch, which is the longer stitch, of course, the extended stitch. On top of it, make a single crochet, and then go backwards in between these 2 extended half double crochets in the row below there, make your extended half double crochet. Then you're going to skip 1. Generally it's a repeat of this. Skip 1, make a single crochet in the next stitch, yarn over, go in the row below backwards and make a half double crochet. So skip 1, single crochet, and then extended half double crochet between those half double crochets that are in the stitch below, in the row below. So repeat this until you get to the end, and at the end it's going to always end the same. You'll have 2 stitches, and then you skip 1, and then the last one is a single crochet. So it begins with 2 single crochets and ends with 1 single crochet for every row that has no reductions. So end with a single crochet, and we are just going to keep repeating this pattern over and over again until you have your desired number of number of inches that you want for your length. So simply chain 1, turn your work, 2 single crochets, and then right below the first stitch make an extended half double crochet, skip 1, next stitch make a single crochet, yarn over, and right below that skipped stitch in the row below make a half double crochet. You can see there it's very clear, like now you're able to see these spaces that you need to make your half double crochet. At first it's quite not easily seen, but as you continue then it becomes clear, like from row 3 it becomes very clear. That space there, that's where you are working your, don't forget to make a single crochet. So it's single crochet first and then extended half double crochet in that space below. Single crochet, extended half double crochet in the very space that is between the previous 2 half double crochets. All right, so continue doing this until you have the length of your cardigan or jacket without the ribbing length. So if let's say you wanted your jacket to be 19 inches, so you're going to do this until you have 17 and a half, because the ribbing is 2.5. You understand? All right, so continue working in these spaces for your extended half double crochets, and you will be ending your rows with a single crochet, and I will see you once you have your back panel so that we can start on the front panels. This is what I have so far, but I will end up doing 16.5 inches for me for the back. All right, so for the front panels, how we are going to get the AB, which is the foundation chain, is you're going to get the count all the chains that you had on your back panel if you noted them down, and then subtract 5 or 7 stitches from that. All right, so like for me, I had 87 chains for my back panel. And if I subtract 5 from that, then it becomes 82. Okay, the 5 is where we are putting the zipper in the front. That's why we're only subtracting 5 chains and not inches, 5 chains only. Okay, so once I have that, it is 82 for me. I remain with 82 stitches, and since we are doing 2 panels, the front are 2, so that we're going to divide it by 2 panels. So 82 divided by 2 is 41. So my foundation chain is going to be 41 chains. Okay, so it's simple math. It may look a little bit complicated, but it's simple. So we are taking 5 chains from the back panel. Okay, that's one that you need to note down. 5 chains from the back panel that will do. So this is how our front panel is going to be, and we will make some reductions here at the end. So I did about 11, 12 inches before I started to reduce, and then I reduced the rest of it. So the front, the same height as the back, and this is about 16.5. So I did 12 inches before reducing. I did 12 inches before reducing, and then I did a reduction of 2.5, and then the rest 2, I just did without any reduction. So the reduction we reduced for only 2.5 inches, and so we start reducing when we have about 4.5 inches to get to the top. So whatever length you have, once you have 4.5 inches to the total length, that's when you start to decrease. So this is my front panel so far, and I want to start reducing. So this is about 12 inches that I have here. All right, I have 12 inches, and I'm making mine 16.5 long, so I have 4.5 inches to go. All right, so once you have 4.5 inches to go, then we'll start the reducing process. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches to the top, then we'll start to reduce. And this is how it looks for me. So I reduced 2.5 inches, so this is 12, then I reduced 2.5, and then the rest no reduction. Okay, so 4.5 inches to the top is when we start to make reductions, and we reduce for only 2.5 inches, and then the rest we just continue until we have the length. To make the reduction, we're always going to reduce at the end of the row, and so I'm just going to work this row of mine until I have about 3 stitches to go, and then I will come and show you how to reduce. I came all the way and I'm coming to the end. Now I have 3 stitches left and I need to make a reduction. So for the reduction, what we are going to do is you will simply make this single crochet here. Normally we would make the extended half double crochet and then end with a single crochet. So instead of doing that, we'll end with only 2 single crochets, and in these last 2 stitches you're going to make a reduced single crochet, which means I'll enter my hook like this, pull through, and instead of finishing the single crochet, I'll just go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then I have 3 loops on the hook, and then I will yarn over and pull through all. So I just made 1 single crochet at the end, and I've ended with only 2 single crochets. So next is you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work, and we are going to make another reduction at the beginning of the row. So instead of working in this very first stitch, you are going to skip that stitch. All right, and then you can work a reduced single, you can skip it or work a reduced single crochet. So you can just go ahead and go into the second and third stitches and work 2 single crochets in the second and third, or you can work a reduced single crochet in the first 2, like that, like we did at the end, and then work another single crochet in the third stitch. So you have 2 single crochets, just like we were beginning before with 2 single crochets, and then you yarn over and make an extended single crochet, and this will go right here between these 2. This will be your first extended half double crochet, so it will go before this extended half double crochet here, right below here, like that. So this will be your first one, because we reduced and now we are losing this whole pair of a single crochet and an extended half double crochet. This pair we lose it, so now you'll just go ahead with a skip 1 single crochet, yarn over, extended half double crochet in the row below, skip 1 single crochet, extended half double crochet in the row below, skip 1 single crochet, and then extended half double crochet in the row below. It's going in here just like before, and then you're going to continue all that until you get to the end here, And of course, when you get to the end, we are only reducing on one side, so you will not do any reductions at the end. You'll just continue as usual, and then you'll come back, and then I'll show you how to again make the same reduction. It's the same, but I want to show you one more time. I worked all the way. This is my third row of reduction, and I'm getting to the end. I have 3 stitches left. I put a stitch marker here because you need to mark where you started. So make sure that you note down the rows before the reduction, because you're going to be doing an identical panel, and you need to know how many rows that you did on the first phase, and then the second phase, and the third phase. So note how many rows you had before reduction, and then once you do the 2 inches for reduction, note how many rows you've done, and also the last rows of no reduction, so that you are able to do the same number of rows when you do the second panel. All right, so we have here 3 stitches left. So I've done the extended double crochet, half double crochet, so I have 1, 2, 3 stitches left. So I will skip 1, make a single crochet, and I actually have two left. So in this last 2, all right, so I'm gonna make my single crochet here, and normally in these last 2 I would make an extended single crochet right here and then a single crochet, but since we are reducing in these last 2, I'm going to make another single crochet. So I'll go in and finish single crochet, and then go ahead and insert my hook in the last stitch and finish single crochet, and then yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. So I have 2 single crochets in the end, and without an extended single crochet, half double crochet. So next is for the 4th row of reduction, you will chain 1, and then you're just going to repeat the pattern of its 2 rows pattern, reduction pattern. So you either skip this very first one and work 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches, or you make a reduced single crochet, but I will show you how it works when you just skip also. So I'll skip this first one, go into the second one, make a single crochet, and then into the 3rd stitch, make a single crochet. So that's 2 single crochets, yarn over, make an extended single crochet right under here in the previous row, like that. Okay, so now we have lost 2 of these extended half double crochets. We've lost 2 since we started the reduction, because this is our 4th row, which means we've lost 4 stitches already. So skip 1, go into the next stitch, single crochet, and then extended half double crochet, skip 1, single crochet, and then extended half double crochet, single crochet, and then extended half double crochet in this space below. All right, so you're just going to continue reducing at the end and at the beginning of this one side, and once I have my 2.5 inches, then I will stop and just continue working straight. So here we are. I did my 2.5 inches of decrease, and this is from here to here. All right, so 2.5 from here all this way. Let me see how many rows that is. So I started here, so this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm counting the long stitches, the extended stitches, so that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12 rows of decrease. And now for the remainder of the rows, I'm just going to work back here with no decrease at all, but I will show you once I get here. I'm coming to the end. Have my single crochet. Normally we would end with just 2 single crochets, but we are changing that because we are not making any more decreases, so we will go ahead and not here. This is where the single crochet should be, because you skip 1 then single crochet. Normally we would end with 1 here and then make a decrease at the end, but we don't do that now. We work an extended half double crochet like that, and then 1 single crochet. You skip 1 and then 1 single crochet in the very last stitch, like that. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and you're going to do the rest of the rows with no decrease, which means you will work in this very first stitch here. So I'll go in with a single crochet and then go on top of this extended half double crochet and make my second single crochet, and then yarn over and make an extended single crochet right in this space between. Skip 1 single crochet, extended half double crochet, skip 1 single crochet, extended half double crochet. And we are now going to do away with any decreases. We are just going to continue working straight. All right, so I went on and did the rest of my rows to get to my length that I wanted. So from the first time we start to decrease up to the end, that is 4.5 inches, and then the rest was 12 for me because I wanted 16.5 in length. So if you want, let's say 20 in length, then it would have to be 15.5 first and then 4.5 to get to the 20. All right, so here is 2.5 for reduction, and then the rest just with no reduction. All right, so once you have that, then you're going to go ahead and make another identical one that I already have. So once you have 2, then we will go on and do the sleeves. So this is how it looks like, and this is now our neckline. So we'll go ahead and do the sleeves. You're going to take your tape measure, wrap it up around the biggest part of your arm, and then what you get, add 2 inches to that. So mine, when I wrap mine around my arm, it is 10 inches. The biceps, so the biggest part of your arm, mine is 10 inches. So 10 inches, when I add 2 to that, it becomes 12 inches. So 12 inches will be my foundation chain. Okay, so once you have that, you'll work the pattern just like this, like before. Same thing, just on a smaller scale. As you can see, mine is about 12. I started with 12, but it reduced just a little bit. So that my foundation chain was 12. And then here it is 3.5 inches. So once you have 3.5 inches, we are going to start our reductions. And it's important that we start our reductions at the end of the row. So this will be the start of my reduction row, and I am going to work my work until I have 3 stitches left. Then I'll meet you here so that we can start the reduction. I came all the way, and now I get to the end. I skip 1 single crochet, and then we have 2 stitches left. All right, so we are going to make a reduction just like before. You make an unfinished single crochet, and then insert your hook in the last stitch, make an unfinished single crochet, and you have 3 loops, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. Then you chain 1, turn your work. So that was our first row of reduction. On the second row of reduction, we are going to do at the beginning and at the end, and then once we're at the end, then we'll do another reduction, which is on the third row of reduction at the beginning. So we are making 4 reductions on 3 rows. Okay, so Now we are going to make a reduction to start. So you skip the first stitch, go into the second stitch, make a single crochet, go into the third stitch, make a single crochet. That's 2 single crochets, and then yarn over and make an extended half double crochet, just like before. And now you just skip 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then extended half double crochet, single crochet, skip 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then extended half double crochet, and you're just going to continue this until you have 2 stitches left on the other end, and then we'll come make a reduction at the end. So we already made 2 at the end here and at the beginning. Now we need to make at the end and at the beginning of the next row. I'm coming to the end of the second row of decrease, which means I skip 1, then single crochet, and we're going to end with just 2 single crochets. So I'll make a reduction in the last 2 stitches, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, insert my hook in the next one, yarn over, pull through, and then I have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all, then chain 1. So now I made a reduction at the end, so now I'm going to also make a reduction at the beginning, so that we have reduced 2 stitches on each side, which means you lose one of these extended 1 pair, sorry, on every side. Okay, so now skip 1, that's the row 3 of reducing. So I skip 1 in the next stitch, single crochet, and then single crochet in the next stitch. So I have 2 single crochets at the beginning, and then yarn over, make an extended half double crochet right below here. Skip 1 single crochet, extended, and from now on we are going to be making reductions every 3.5 inches. Okay, so we are done with the reduction here, and then now you continue working straight, and after another 3.5 inches you make another reduction, and the 3.5 inches including the reduction part. Okay, so we started here, so another on the 7th inch you make a reduction, then on the another 3.5, that is 10.5 inch, you make a reduction like that. All right, so here we are, and I have 7 inches now, so it's 3.3 plus 3.3 is got 7. So now I'm ready for my next decrease. So like I said before, we are decreasing at the first decrease should be at the end of the row, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work this row now until I get back here. When I have 2 stitches left, then I'll make the decrease. I worked my row. This is my first row of decrease, and I'm decreasing at the end, so I have 2 stitches left, and I'll make a decrease. So I'll insert my hook, pull through, insert my hook again, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then I'll pull through all 3 loops. Second row of decrease, chain 1, turn your work like we did on the first time we decreased. So you're going to skip the first stitch, and into the second stitch make a single crochet, go into the third stitch, make a single crochet, yarn over, go below here, and make a yarn over, slips half half double crochet, extended half double crochet, skip 1, next single crochet, and then extended half double crochet, skip 1, single crochet, then extended half double crochet. And you're going to do this was row 1 at the end, then row 2 at the start, and then you'll do decrease at the end of row 2, and then at the beginning of row 3 of decrease, and then you continue going straight. You'll repeat this pattern of decreasing. You reduce after every 3.5 inches until you have 4 decrease times. You decrease 4 times. So this was 1, this is 2 that we are working on, then we'll do 3, and then 4 times, and you'll do that until you get to the length of the sleeve that you like. Only decrease 4 times. In the end, your sleeve should look like this, and then you're going to go ahead and do your second sleeve. And once you have your 2 sleeves, then we are going to do the front panels and back panels together. You're going to do this using a slip stitch, a single crochet, or just a needle. Put them together, sew them together, and then you're going to lay your sleeve like that, and you're going to sew it also on the wrong side with a single crochet or slip stitch across with the middle like this of your seam. You see this seam here? This is now where you seam your sleeve on the side of the front panels and the back panel. And then once you have that, you're going to do the same for the other sleeve, and then you're going to fold your jacket. However, you're going to fold this on the wrong side. This is my right side. I'm showing you, but you should fold it on the wrong side. And then you're going to seam all the way from the bottom to the underarm to the sleeve. Okay, so once everything is sewed together, all the parts, this is how it should be looking like. And then we are going to do the ribbing. It's all around our neckline, and we're going to be using front post and back post from one end to another, one end to another. So we are going to start with double crochet stitch first. We're going to do a row of double crochets first. So you're going to reattach your yarn at the point where we started to make decreases. That is at the front of the front panel where we started to make decreases. You reattach your yarn at that point, and you're going to chain 3. Chain 3 counts as a stitch, and you are going to make double crochets evenly along the neckline. So put a double crochet in every stitch. The stitches are not very clear, but find where to put a double crochet where you see that it needs to be a double crochet there, and do that along the neckline all the way to the other side. So work your double crochets, and I'll meet you when you get to the other decreasing point of the other front panel, so the opposite side. So I went all along the neckline with my double crochets, and I'm getting to the end. This is where the other reducing was. So we are going to work chain 3 and then work our way to the other side again, and we're going to be using the front post and back post stitches. So you're going to chain 3, which counts as a stitch, and then turn your work, and you're going to skip the first stitch because that is on top of our chain 3 is on top of that, and it counts. So go into the second double crochet and make a front post. So insert your hook under that double crochet and complete your front post. And then next is a back post. So go from behind over that next stitch and make a back post double crochet. And you're going to be alternating between front post and back post. So next is going to be a front post double crochet. Put your hook under like that and make your double crochet. And next is going to be a back post double crochet. Front post and back post. I really wanted to use the slip stitch in the back loop only for this jacket, but then using small yarn and it was taking too long, so I gave up and went with the easiest, which is the front post back post. But I think the slip stitch and the back loop only would have made it look really, yeah, much better, I think. Anyway, I'll see you at the end. So I'm coming to the end of this row 2. Front post, back post, and then I have 1 stitch left and then the chain. Okay, so I will make a front post in that last stitch, and then on top of the chain 3, I'm going to on the top of the third chain, I will make a double crochet. So you end with a double crochet on top of this chain stitch. Okay, so next you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and we are just going to repeat this. So you yarn over, and you see my last stitch was a front post. Now when I turn my work, it looks like a back post. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to work a back post there so that you keep it like a back post, like this. And this that looks like a front post, you work a front post, and then you keep alternating back post, front post where there's a front post, back post where there's a back post, and front post where there is a front post. And you're going to keep repeating this until you have enough rows for your collar, and then we'll come and do the bottom. So I'm done with the collar, and I did 1 2 3 4 5 rows of front post and back post stitches, and now we are going to do the bottom. But I already did my bottom. It's the same stitch at the bottom, only that I made some reduction. So after every 10 stitches I would make a reduction. Instead of doing a double a front post under 1 post, I would just go under 2 double stitches instead to make that reduction. So I'll do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 10. Then like here where I have the 11th and 12th double crochets, I go under 2 or over 2 depending if you're making a front post or a back post. Then again do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 10, and then the 11th and 12th just make 1 post there. Okay, that's only for the second row after the row of double crochets, and then after that you just make front post where there's front post and back post where there's back post. And I did 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 rows of front post and back post, but you can make them longer if you want a longer ribbing, or you make them less, depends on what you like. We're going to be adding the zipper, and it's just from up here where my collar is. I'll start it right there, then come all the way down, but it's longer than what I actually need, so I will need it to stop around here. So which means instead of this, we'll just sew here so that it doesn't go beyond, and then we'll just cut off the rest. So I will pin it down using pins so that we are able to sew it on there. So once I've pinned down this side, I'm going to sew with my needle. It's a sharp one so it can go through, and my thread. So I'm going to sew from up here all the way until somewhere near the bottom. So I'm just going to sew this together. You can use any sewing method that you like. I went with this that looks like the easiest of them all, and just sewed from the top, the front of my cardigan with the zipper, making sure you have enough space for the zipper to actually open, but also not leaving so much space so that your zipper is all out. You understand? So I'm like going in the middle of that side of the zipper. So I'm going to sew this all the way to the bottom. This is how it looks at the other side. My zip can open, and I will see you once you're done with that. Then after I'm done with that, I will see you at the bottom. I went all the way down and my one side is done, but I went to the bottom. I need to cut off this side, so I'm just going to kind of sew a blockage on the zipper so that when I pull down the zipper it doesn't go all the way out, because that's what's there on my zipper, because I got the wrong zipper anyway. So I will block this part here so that it doesn't go all the way, and then just cut the rest off like that. So we'll just go ahead and do the other side of the zipper also, like sew it to the other side, and then we'll have the zipper sewed, and then I'll come back to you. So both sides of my zipper are sewed, and it doesn't really look neat at the front, so I'm going to put an edge to that also, that I'm able to cover the zipper nicely. So I went ahead and did single crochets on every side. So from the bottom to the top, I did a row of single crochets over there, just to help the edge, to have a nice edge or trim. Okay, so it looks better, the zipper is well hidden, and I think I like it. So this is our cardigan or jacket, and I really like it. I love how it looks. It has, you know, that unique look, you know. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial, and if you like to purchase my patterns, they're available on Etsy. I will leave the links in the description box as well as the comment section. Share this video to your friend groups and everyone that you know that crochets. So thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.